Greetings, everyone. How you doing? This is Ronald Williams Eel. For the record, Ronald Williams Eel. I am more Jew, and I'm addressing this to Madam Jan Schakowsky, Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky. We met long ago on the steps of the music school of Evanston. There was an FBI agent that I knew that introduced me to you, but he told me not to say nothing to you, but I did. And I handed you a manuscript of a couple of pages. This was back in 2006, 2007, or 2000, maybe 8. His name was Clinton. He was part of the FBI agency, and he wanted me to meet with you. I gave you a couple of sheets of paper of my manuscript of my book, Justice for Justice, Racism Dead. Since then, there has been a lot of stuff happening. 319 Dempster building was rigged, I guess, assumingly because of some of the manuscripts that I had was on a computer that I used in another facility, but I had no idea that motherboard could take notes of everybody's computer that was using it. At that time, I didn't have my own, so they'll slap a target on my back where one of the Evanston policemen, maybe two, well, it was two, profiled me using a woman from Chicago Police District who also followed me in a black Mercedes-Benz chrome fenders back then. Both of them would use the same cars, and I would see them in different unmarked vehicles. They followed me pretty much to every apartment. 319 Dempster, Norman House on Uptown, where drugs was put on me. After searching me rudely in the broad daylight, finding nothing, taking the cuffs off, telling me to go ahead. As I walked halfway down the block to my SRI apartment, here that same person comes, holding the bag in his hand, asking me what was in his hand. I told him I didn't know. He said, well, it's yours now. So off to those 3-3 district I went. There was another policeman by the name of Mark Smite that was over them, but he was not the one that put the drugs on me. There was another guy with the drugs on me. And I'd been stopped before that for a bogus stop by, I'm assuming, 023 district, but it happened in Rogers Park. Well, let me tell you, this followed me to the 5300 Michigan, where corrupt managers and maintenance men with Pangea Management was used to do a lot of stuff to my properties and try to do it to me. I moved from there to 4222 South Michigan, north of the 5300 South Michigan building, which was owned by property owner Dave Weiner, which also property managers and management were told to treat me very, very unfairly. I'm assuming because I had filed on one of the policemen from Evanston who had to step down in June 2021. Excuse me, June 2021, yes, for misconduct. He didn't stop there. He followed me to 2413 East 78th Street, where Anthony Mackey, well, first it was Lillian Dragnet, who managed the apartment complex, 32-unit complex of Trouble, and then was taken over by HMS Properties, so-called co-owner Anthony Mackey. Had many inspections there. As a matter of fact, in all of my apartments, 5300, 4222nd, 2222, 319 Dempster, Evanston, and 2413, many times, but all inspections passed. When I recalled for an inspection, it failed because the lady took a bribe, and she went upstairs and passed it. When I recalled, the inspectors came out and felt it. It then soon went into an indictment, which forced me into the streets, which is not my fault. It was the property managers and property maintenance who were contacted or connected to street people used to remove tenants out of their buildings before time, sometimes permanently. Um, I moved from 2413 78th Street to another place, so-called mobile area, 6807 North Sheridan, which, again, top managers, which three of them have been replaced. There was Liz and her crew. When I looked at the building, she showed me the spot. She knew exactly where she wanted to put me. And that place was contaminated with mold and openings near the base lines of the floor. 3 times inspectors passed it, but they stopped downstairs and visited them for quite some time. But each and every one of the inspectors told me they was on their way up, but it took them at least a half an hour to come up, each one of them. And all of them passed or failed the unit, which has been kind of happening with the places that I have been leasing. There was a person that followed me, as I said, from the Evanston Police Department and Chicago Police Department. Both of them followed me in a black Mercedes-Benz, older model, with silver fenders. The same thing is happening here at Rogers Park. A pale person, tall. I'm positive he's tall because I think I know who he is. Has followed me in a black, later model, Mercedes-Benz. Plates number Adolf Hitler 88541. That's plate number AH 88541. Him and another guy, tall, who drives a Mazda, both of them pale, has been following me since I signed contracts. 120 pages, separate 60 pages each. As soon as I signed those pages, being homeless, I had to sign because it was like the streets was kind of cruel. And I had all these police that I filed on constantly making it really hard for me, to put it that way. As I said, one of them had to step down in June 21. But he continues to make his moves and has been since I filed on was just in 2011, but I filed on his overseas in 2006, which the same officer that followed me, female officer from the 51st District, or should I say Wentworth, followed me in the same black car, but that was years ago. She also moved into the 4222 South Michigan building on the 3rd floor. She did not think I would know who she was, but when you mess with like that by police, certain police, not all police are corrupt, but these 3 were. It's hard to forget her face. She moved above me at the 4222 South Michigan building, Unit 3W. I was Unit 2W. She was moonlighting as a tenant, but I'm assuming that she wanted to cover up some of the mistakes that happened. Now, in my present building, it's hard for me to breathe, just like in the rest of the 3 buildings. Some of the main people that were used at the 4222 building and the 2413 East 78th Street building are some of the same people that's used at the 6807 North Short. If you can hear me now, I'm wheezing. 2 days ago, before I went into my apartment, I wasn't wheezing, but what Hitler did to the Jews, the real Jews, back in the World War II, is the same thing that's happening here today with certain people of certain crew, should I say, that are targeting tenants that look like me through all different shades of true color, pigment, should I say. Since 2019, the so-called COVID-19, which was, I suspect, planned, is the same tool that Hitler used back in the days with the real Jews in concentration camps, the gassing. Same thing is happening here. I've been to many hospitals, especially after 2019. That surge was coming to my apartment in 4222 South Michigan. Property owner, Dave Weiner. There's two Dave Weiners, one here in Chicago or Illinois, and one in New York. His crew and whoever he brought in was good at what they do. They make people disappear. And asthma or making their lungs collapse is one of the specialties that a lot of these so-called Master Masons are doing to tenants since 2019 and before, but relatively higher levels after 2019. The same thing is happening again here at Margis Park. Now, there's a whole lot of history between me and Uptown, Rogers Park, Chatham, Bronzeville, and Evanston. I was introduced to you by Clinton, again, who's an FBI agent. He had a brother named Rodney, and another brother, which I'm going to mention his name. I did a video not too far from the FBI headquarters on Roosevelt, across the street, about the whole scenario. This is in 2015, I do believe, maybe 2014. But a lot of the things that's happening is because I just stood up and talked about the truth. Organ theft and human trafficking is real. Maybe if I can do another video, I can prove what I'm saying is true, but a lot of people already know it's true. It's happening now all over Illinois. And it happened to the state that I just left 16 years ago. I wrote about that and put it in the book. I went to Senator Obama's office at the time and complained to him, but he told me to go to the FBI corporation, which was around the corner. But at that time, he was near 219 Dearborn, right across from the P.O. box that I had, that my mail was going into. This was also done by corrupt police, orchestrated by whoever was over them, who was a queen. That was a supervisor at that time. A lot of people was complaining as well as that. Now I'm at box 80, having the same thing with tampering for mail. One of the guys who worked there, I forget his name, Mac something, played saxophone. I think he's a member of the NOI. As one of the police from Evanston is a member of NOI, who use other co-workers and members to make my life hard. This has been since I've been back here in Illinois. I'm going to wrap this up because I don't know how much time that I have. But this guitar was a whole. When I came to Chicago, the maintenance men decided to come in and tamper with it because they had a get out of free. See this? Get out of jail free card, and a lot of them that were used from these outreach programs such as Trilogy, Threshold, Connection for the Homeless, Entry Point, and Hilda's Place, which all three of those in the same spot when I came in. There was a lot of stuff that was happening that should have not happened, but certain police they knew about it, but did nothing. So I'm here in where I started from, Evanston, in the Evanston Library right now. I'm breathing because I can't go into my apartment and breathe. Now these are 3 apartments that I've been in that these people come in and set up traps or gangs or gang rooms that destroy people's lives. Let's put it that way. I'm not the only person. There have been many more, but a lot of them are not here to speak on their behalf because they're no longer with the living. So on that note, all I wanted to do was come here to Chicago and catch up what I missed out because I was on the same page of standing up for people that's been going through the same thing I've been going through. A lot of these shootings and stuff like that, they're not just shootings. There are removal processes. A lot of these people end up somewhere, but before their loved ones see them, their body parts is gone. Boom, gone. Organ theft, human trafficking is real. And it's happening on a more and more coast-to-coast basis. That BMW, that black Mercedes-Benz, and there's another guy, tall guy. He stays in the same complex, and I think his sidekick, I'm sure I say, his overseer, who runs the bar of Oasis Bar, they know what happened to those contracts that I signed with Darcia Odin and Hunter Owens, who I asked for copies of after I signed them, but they somehow came up missing when I came back. When I came back to the next mission day, I couldn't get them because they're no longer working for Vivian's apartment. Then came the present, the new ones. The first one that I came to look at the apartment with Liz and her crew, they left, I want to say before October. I moved in October, but I had to sign the papers in October and then sign more papers in September. Those two contracts that were separate, 60 pages apiece, I've been asking for, where did they go? But right after the signing of those papers, I had problems on the streets and in my apartment with some kind of toxin air coming, let's put it, unsafe quality of air. I got a good dose of it last night and the night before last. They sent a lot of people out of here. And hospitals know that what's happening with these people when they walk into the hospitals, but they're not telling them. I was one of those people. I went to three major hospitals and two not so major hospitals. They remain to keep their mouth shut of annihilation of the genocide that's taking place here in Illinois. And nobody is saying anything about it. But I know a person that could stand up and say something about it if he was allowed. And but he's afraid. One of the entities that I'm referring to was there at 4222 South Michigan building that Dave Weiner owned, and he was also there at 2413 East 78th Street building, 32-unit building complex where crime is allowed. And I've called many times the 103rd Luella district to come to that apartment complex, apartment 2, and two of them went upstairs to find out what was really happening, but I'm assuming because he might have been part of a Mason that he had to get out of jail free card because he did have control of a lot of gang members as well as the cop that I filed on from Evanston Police Board who had to step down in June 2021. So on that note, I'm going to close out, but all I wanted to do was write books, tell the truth, and play my guitar. So when did it stop being where you're not supposed to tell the truth? One of the people that I recently met, who was part of this crew, told me snitches get stitches. That's how our people, pale and non-pale, got sidetracked with telling lies or not saying anything when crime happens. Because they'll get stitches, some of them get bullets, some of them get shots, some of them are injected, some of them have toxin air sent to their apartment buildings, which I'm having right now at the 6807 South, 6807 North Sheridan Road. This is not my first rodeo, Madam Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, but I just asked you for help back in 2006, 2008. And in 2005, when I emailed you from the Resource Center, that was on 47th, I think 46th North, off of Wilson, right north of McDonald's. Because did hair slightly across the street from their dome. All I wanted to do was hair, play my music, and write a book. Write some books, a couple of books. So I'm going to end this on this note. And thank you for listening to me. This goes to Madam Jan Schakowsky, Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, and her overseer. Something is very wrong with our system.